So, walk around, check it out. Check it out. You know the boss, so. So there was, but upstaging me. Learn early. So there was an engineer who was unemployed for a long time, so he decided to open up a medical clinic. And he put a sign outside the clinic and it said, "We guarantee a cure for your ailment for $500, or we'll pay you $1,000 if we fail." So there was a local doctor who was not really thrilled that some engineer opened a medical clinic. So he decided to take that opportunity to go earn $1,000. So he goes to the clinic and he says to the doctor, "I've lost my sense of taste." And the engineer says, "Okay, nurse, please bring the medicine from box 22 and put 3 drops in the patient's mouth." Okay, the nurse does that, and the doctor goes, "This is gasoline." The engineer says, "Yes, congratulations, you've got your taste back. $500, please." The doctor wasn't thrilled with that, so after a couple days, he went back and he tried to recover his money, and he said, "So, sir, I have lost my memory. I can't remember anything." Engineer turns to the nurse and says, "Nurse, please bring the medicine from box 22 and put 3 drops in the patient's mouth." And the doctor says, Whoa, wait. But that is gasoline." "That's right. Very good. Congratulations. You got your memory back. $500. Doctor's pissed. He is pissed. He comes back a week later and he goes, "Okay, my eyesight has become very, very weak. I can barely see to even get here." The engineer goes, "Well, I don't really have any medicine for that. So why don't you take this $1,000, and he starts putting out $100 bills, and he goes, 1. He puts 5 $100 bills in front of the doctor, and the doctor says, "Whoa, wait a minute, that's only $500. And he goes, "Congratulations, you got your vision back. $500, please." So today I want to talk about vision. I want to talk about vision like what you see out of your eyeballs, your cornea, your lenses, the iris, all that fun stuff. I want to talk about the inner eye, the mind's eye, where we see formless behind the form, where we see the meaning behind the meaning, where we know of the essence of the creation that we are, where we see the mystery behind what we focus on, the spirit behind it all. When we create a vision statement like that, we claim, or business, your business, if you have a business, you probably put together a mission and a vision statement, maybe even a purpose statement. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're claiming what you want your organization to be, what you see it to be. So in this case, what we see our community to be, or what each of us in this community could be. It's a guide. It's an aspiration. It's an ultimate becoming. It's something that you envision will become. You envision this happening. And it may start in your imagination, it may start in some logical thing in your brain, but it's something you look forward to, something you usually visualize or do some visioning about until it becomes, until it's formed in your life. But it can also be an envisage. That's a different word, envisage. Now, an envisage is based on actual evidence. It's based on knowing. It's based on a strong belief. So what you see behind me here, or sort of behind me, is really a vision statement. It's much more of an envisage statement. Because this is based on something I know that is here right now. Sometimes we have to catch up with it a little bit, but it's already here. It's a statement based on evidence of a strong belief that each of us already has before we even stepped in here, because I know all of you. And it's possibly in the future, but it's in the present as well. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wrote, "A rock pile ceases to be a rock pile the moment a single man contemplates it, bearing within him the image of a cathedral." So what is a cathedral? What is this building? What is any building? Just somebody's vision, somebody's envisage of what will become from this pile of bricks. We're all a bunch of pile of bricks. So we get to decide what those piles of bricks are going to become or are becoming. So the full vision statement, this is not the full vision statement up here. The full vision statement is a little closer to what you read in the affirmation, and that is to vibrate at the speed of the divine with love, always being the answer, and optimizing our greatest self by being a clear, luminous, and dynamic force for good. Mm-hmm. That is the vision of this center. So I want to break that down just a little bit. What is the speed of the divine? The speed of the divine is what starts right here in your heart. It is a heartfelt intelligence, the speed of the divine. And when you're at the speed of the divine, you remove delay in your life, you remove fear in your life, and all thoughts of the unknown, which is also attached to fear usually, is gone. Because when you're vibrating at the speed of the divine, you're already vibrating with the knowledge, the beingness, the essence, the knowingness, the intention of the divine that is within you right here, right now. So you vibrate. You can almost feel it if you take a moment. You can almost feel the vibration. Some people have the psychic ability to see the vibration. See it. There's a glow of colors sometimes. That surround you, and that is a vibration. That is your vibration. That is your essence. That is your energy, because everything's energy. We may not see these colors of the aura, but they're there because it's an energy vibrating from us. It's a knowing, a faith, a perspective, a belief, an act of beingness when we vibrate at the speed of the divine, of consciously and intentionally connecting with the source. So it's something we connect with. It's always there, like I said, but when we connect to it, that's when we really vibrate. When we're on purpose. And we can do that in all different ways. We can do that in affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment, like you'll hear several times in the service. You can do it by all sorts of meditation practices. There's all kinds of ways you can get there. You can walk your dog. Or one of my favorites, although I don't have a pet right now, is when Ariella was growing up. This is my stepdaughter, by the way. When she was growing up, we had a dog in the house, beautiful black lab, and boy, if I looked in his eyes, if I didn't see this in life, I must have had my eyes closed, because his eyes were just the divine coming through, that love coming through. William Shakespeare said, "Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be." When we live at the speed of the divine, we don't have to wonder what may be, because we're on the path already. We're on the path already. We don't have to know how. We don't have to know how. The law knows how. Now, we take bold, direct action in our lives, and some of that action comes from logic and the intellect, but some of that action comes from instinct. And where does instinct come from? the divine, or whatever you want to call this. You don't have to use this word. It comes from there. That's where instinct comes from. And I find instinct in here because you have a gut feeling. And that gut feeling propels you into action. Now, I'm not saying you can't stay home and sit down and do spiritual mind treatment or some sort of affirmative prayer and things, boom, show up. That can happen. But usually what happens is we start vibrating at the speed of the divine and we start listening and we start hearing the clues. And then we take action, whatever that is, depending on what you're doing. So, in the second part, how is love always the answer? Well, I'm going to do this by comparing a little bit. So, chiding and blaming are not love. Gratitude is love. Indifference in life, in a relationship, in your in any part of your life, in your body temple, and passivity in any of those parts of your life is not love. Compassion is love. Compassion for yourself, compassion for others, that's love. Having to be right all the time, who hasn't done that? Or ignoring others, that's not love. That's not love. Listening is love. Love is the answer when you are listening. Destructive or lack-filled thoughts, that's not love. That's dislove. That's unlove. Instinct is love, because instinct tells you something constructive to do, not something destructive to do. When we are not always learning, when we are not in wonderment as we were always when we were children, when we are not open at the top, allowing new things to show up, we're not in love. When we're living life fully, when we're allowing ourselves to learn, to be new, to see, even see that same flower that has been blooming for a week, and we look at it again, oh my gosh, I never noticed that petal has a little black line in it. Even something that small expands us. That's love. Having boundaries is love. I don't want to talk about love as just this airy-fairy new age kind of, everything's great, and you have the rose-colored glasses on and you ignore everything that's negative. I'm not talking about that. But you can approach that with love. For example, if somebody in your life or something in your life is not very positive and is not helping you at all or any longer, if it somehow did help you before, by wishing that person or that idea or that object their highest and farthest is a way to do it. Because you can wish this negative person or this negative experience, wish them well, bless them well on their way out, and then close the door. So how do we optimize our greatest self? By being a clear, luminous, and dynamic force for good. And in this case, I'm using good not in the positive or negative sense, but good in the universal sense, because everything actually is good, positive or negative. Clarity and specificity of purpose is optimizing. That's how you optimize your life. That's how you optimize your prayer. That's how you optimize anything in your life, any purpose in your life, any mission that you want, by having clarity and specificity on exactly what it is you want, what it will look like. Vibrating at the speed of sound is very luminous. It illustrates the power, and that power just starts vibrating in your life, whether you see it or not, it does. Taking bold and present action is a dynamic force. So whatever that looks like, whatever you've been informed, you want to open a new business or improve an old business, you take bold action, that's a dynamic force. That's what the laws, okay, you want that, you're going to do that? Let me help you there. And the law does that. It recognizes that. And if it betters your life and harms no other, its prosperity is shared, then it is good. So that's the simple explanation of that part. That we optimize our life in a luminous way and using dynamic force, and knowing that when we share it and when we allow it to be there, then it is a force for good in the world. Now, I found out that Friday or Saturday was the Wesak celebration, yes? Mm-hmm. The Wesak celebration is about the birth, enlightenment, and death of Gautama Siddhartha, who was the Buddha. And it's named for the month of May. It's celebrated on the full moon of Taurus, which just happened, that all of us Taurians are very happy. When the Buddha's mother is said to, now listen to this. When the Buddha's mother is said to have given birth to him in a garden in the Himalayan foothills while en route to her parents' home. Heard that story before. Except this story happened about 2,450 years ago. 2,450 years ago. So in this time during the Wesak celebration, the Buddhists, but I think we all could do this, is they recommit to the practice of the teachings that the Buddha taught. And we can recommit to ourselves to the teachings that we know and the teachings of this spiritual center. And I want to tell you a little quick Buddhist tale. One afternoon, some people saw an old woman looking for something outside of her hut. What's going on? What are you looking for? The people would ask her. And she said, I lost the needle. And all the people present started to look for the needle, to help this old woman. After some time, someone commented, this street is very long and a needle is very small, and why don't you tell us exactly where you were, where you think you dropped it, and we'll stay in that area. And she said, well, I dropped it inside my house. And the people said, well, wait a minute, have you gone mad? If you dropped the needle inside your house, why are you looking for it out here? And she said, because there's sunlight out here, and there's none inside my house. Now, too many times we seek for things out here. We seek for things that we see with the eyeballs, instead of looking for things that we see within. We have to always start here. Here. Full body experience, really. A vision is not something we see outside of ourselves. It's something we see within our mind, our heart, and our gut. So I want to ask you, what's your vision? What's your vision for now? Get more work, to retire, to get more clients, to get a new love in your life, to better your relationship with your boss, if you have one. What is it? What is your vision for your life? And are you starting your vision? Are you envisaging it by vibrating at the speed of the divine? By optimizing that flow, that wonderment, that open at the top, always learning, always finding something new, always allowing things to enter into your life. What do you say? What do you see? What do you speak the word in your mind's eye? I ask you to start by vibrating at the speed of the divine, with love always being the answer, and then optimizing your greatest self by being a clear, luminous, and dynamic force for good. Because when you start there, no matter if you're in the middle of things, the beginning of the thing, or sort of near the end of the thing, because you can always kind of feel that, I'm almost there, I got it, then you need to stand there and know. Stand there and be and allow that. I see a dozen people out here, but here, in here, and in here, and in here, I see this place so full, I got to do 2 services. So I'm vibrating at the speed of the divine, whether I see 12 people or I see 80 people. Because right here, I know these 80 people are here. Right here, I know these 80 people are here. And right here, I get to optimize and I listen and I find out and I know in my gut what needs to be done, what bold action I am to do to share the greatest good of this place and this community. Thank you so much. Namaste.